Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey today. This is a reading for the 2-4 human design profile, the Hermit Opportunist. If you don't know what your human design profile is, there's a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph, and your profile will be listed on there. Also, be sure to check out your zodiac sign readings. Those are all up and ready for your viewing pleasure. And as always, and of course, I would absolutely love it if you subscribed to my channel. Thank you. Either way, I'm glad that we're both here. And I don't have a plan for this spread this time around. I'm just kind of shuffling until a couple cards come out. They do have to come out, you know, we want commitment. We have the Hanged Man, Page of Wands, maybe just, I don't know, 1 or 2 other cards, 3. All right. Then we have the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, King of Swords. Look at all these court cards, bro. Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, 2 of Swords, Hierophant, Devil, the Lovers. Huh. You know, like this feels like very, what I was like thinking of when I was shuffling and just staring at these 2 cards, waiting for these cards. Preparation. And literally like the 7 of Wands or 7 of Pentacles is also like a preparation card. And especially too, because we're dealing with majority, okay, if that's a word, pages are the newbies. They're like the little babies of the court cards, right? Like they're the ones that are trying stuff. No clue what to do, learning to work with the energy, in training type of thing, right? The knights are, you know, maybe 6 months to a year in. They know what they're doing, but still kind of working on the skill, the confidence. Still very much like on the journey. Kings are the highest expression of the suit. That's where mastery happens, leadership. So we start over here, the Hanged Man or the Hanged One and Page of Wands. And again, right, like when I was looking at these 2 cards, it did feel like preparation, but like in the sense of, okay, a couple things, like learning how things work, but also perceiving something as pointless is the word that's coming through. But like, okay, let me figure out how to actually say what I'm feeling out of my mouth. Okay, the best way for me to do that is to just explain these cards. So the Hanged Man talks about perspective. It does talk about delay, suspension. This whole image, illustration, hello, is upside down, right? Because usually the Hanged Man is hanging from one foot upside down. And the message with that is, again, right? Like it's seeing things from a different perspective, but also not being able to, it's kind of like control is taken out of their hands because they are hanging there from one foot, right? So there's this element too of surrendering. And again, like almost being forced to see this perspective and be in this situation, whatever the situation is for you. And I think it's interesting that the Page of Wands is here because wands are fire, you know, it's motivation. The actions that we take, the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion, how are we communicating those things? What actions are we taking towards those things? I also see wands as being information by way of experience, because that's generally what we get by trying things, right? Like we get information, we figure out what works, what doesn't work, what do we like, what don't we like, where do we want to actually focus our energy on? Because we might try something, right? Like, you know, we're going for it, we're putting action, we're putting that fire energy, that fire element into it, and then we're just like, that's actually not what I thought it was going to be, or it is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I want to put more into it, right? But like, it took the act of trying to get that information. So in this depiction here, right, like this page is collecting twigs and sticks to build a campfire, and the Knight of Wands is actually bringing the fire element to it. So if you were the person, right, like you were the new person, and whatever aspect of your life this is happening in, right? Like if something were new to you, no matter how new it is, you know, I mean, it could be being new at a company, but you have actual experience in the field, but you're new there, and you have to learn the processes and procedures and the people and the whatever specific to that company now, right? Or that's just one example that was coming to mind. But imagine like if they were like, okay, you're the one who goes to collect the sticks and the twigs and stuff, and you're like, what? Like, how am I stuck on twig duty? But again, it's with the Hanged Man, so there is something here of like seeing this preparation, this because somebody has to get the twigs and the sticks. Somebody has to build the campfire, right? And it's all necessary for the goal, right? So it's like seeing this from a different perspective, seeing this as being necessary, seeing this as being information. I've never actually read from the book about the Hanged One. So let me just see. Suspended above the ground dangles the Hanged One. He is us and we are him. We see through his eyes and... Oh. So we're actually... I'm so glad I even read this. We're seeing this illustration from the perspective of somebody hanging upside down. Fucking duh. Like, that's hilarious. We see through his eyes and feel palpably his predicament. The world is askew, a dizzying rush of emotions and confusion. We are not accustomed to seeing the world from this perspective. Everything appears strange and yet new. How did the Hanged One get there? Was it his own doing, or was it something inflicted upon him? We can't assume he's bound in any way, as we really can only see what's in front of him. Perhaps it's not as important how he got there, but rather how the situation has changed him and how his perception of the world has since changed. The road ahead of him ends near a home with no one else in sight. No one, that is, except the two inquisitive ravens, Hugin and Munin, Odin's trusted messengers. I might have mispronounced those names, probably did. They represent thought and mind. One of them holds a small branch in his beak as an offering. If the Hanged One appears in your reading, it offers you an opportunity to see things from a different perspective. This is a time when evolution will come about through status rather than action, which is so interesting since it is like next to an action, card. The Hanged One brings a period of stillness or even possible stagnation. It indicates a spiritual evolution achieved only through sacrifice or loss. It can augur a time of discomfort. Still, the discomfort is worth the price, as the reward will be greater than the sacrifice. In life, nothing of value is achieved without some form of sacrifice. Time, energy, comfort, and anything that you personally cleave to can be temporarily affected. No matter the methods, transformation will occur. And also, too, like this Page of Wands to me feels like building confidence, building an action plan, right? Because again, like they are collecting the necessary things to properly hold the element of fire. Even though, I mean, we don't have the Knight of Wands out here, but again, right, this preparation thing keeps coming to my mind. And if you have been in a period of like limbo, or maybe even just not being satisfied with the progress of something, it's like, you know, everything that you're doing, every step you've taken, everything that you have tried, everything that you have collected thus far is important to whatever this process is for you. We also have every element out here: Wands, Cups, Pentacles, Swords. Then we have the Knight of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, King of Swords. And like I said, this feels like confidence building. And what is so interesting too, and it is and it isn't, because I mean, they're both knights, but they're both like in the middle of this journey. Like the Knight of Cups, you know, they're on this boat in the middle of the ocean. You know, there's these crazy waves back here. They're pulling on these ropes. I don't know, like sailing terms. You know, like what it's called to like you know, I'm trying to think of like Pirates of the Caribbean. Do whatever with the sails. But I mean, like they're in it though, right? Like they know what they're doing. They're also the ones that are putting in the work, right? Cups have to do with our emotions. The Knight of Cups very much follows their heart. They are led by their heart. You know, I mean, this would even be something that they would have an emotional investment in. I mean, not only just obviously for their own lives, right? They're on this ship. If they don't do this, then, you know, that can not only affect their journey on the water, but like literally everybody else that is also on this ship. Even to like just recognizing your impact on your community. You have the fourth line, the opportunist line, right? Which is very much about your community networking. I always say it with the fourth line that every, like your best opportunity is going to be found within your network somehow. Just putting the word out there, showing that you even have an interest in something, being vulnerable potentially, again, right? You know, like showing emotion in some aspect, just even like showing that side of you. So it's interesting that like over here, it's almost even too about figuring out like what your motivations are, being in a contemplative state again, right? Because I think I said, like, what is it that you want to build? How do you want to go about that? Over here, it's starting to take action on your emotions. What are the things that make you feel good? Right? And like putting your energy into those things, and also trusting that doing that is what is going to ultimately get you to your destination much faster and actually accurately. It could also, you know, I mean, we're talking human design, so, you know, strategy and authority very much in there. It could even be, of course, experimenting with that. regardless of if you're emotionally defined or not. Because your strategy and authority is literally designed to help you enter into the quote unquote correct experiences for you and help you avoid the experiences that are not for you. And ultimately, through honoring that process in your design, like, you will get to exactly where you are meant to be, which is always exactly where you are, right? But the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the whole tarot. It has to do with the physical plane, and time in reality, like in the 3D, is different than, universal time, or of course, like, manifestation time. Obviously we want things to manifest much quicker than sometimes they do. But this card does talk about committing and determination to a thing. In this card, the Page of Pentacles finds this key, gives it to the Knight of Pentacles to make this journey, and give it to the Queen of Pentacles. But it's recognizing that it is going to be a journey, and it is something to commit to, because it also has to do with, like, your success, your stability, discovering the things that, again, right, that you want to put your energy into, and in return you get energy back from them, from it, whatever it is. This is, our money, our time, our energy, our physical body, our health, all those things, right? Like, committing to whatever that is for you, having the vision, taking action on your emotions, right? Like the things that feel good, acting on intuition, even committing to the process, understanding that it is going to be a journey. And also, too, anytime the Knight of Pentacles comes up, I'm always reminded to not gauge success on how fast something happens. Because I think, too, like, a lot of us, will give up on a thing, or leave a thing behind if it's taking too long, because we, again, like, we think that the pace determines success, but instead, like, focusing on, does it still feel good for you? Is it something that you still want to put your emotional, energy into? Like, your heart, is your heart still in it? And be honest with yourself too, right? Like, if it is, keep doing it. If it's not, don't. And the King of Swords, like I said, kings are the highest expression of the suit. The Page of Swords is at the beginning of this maze. The Knight and the Queen are working their way through it. This is the maze of the mind, right? Because swords have to do with our minds, our mindset, our belief systems, truth, honesty. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego, is in our minds. And our egos are created by the stories that we attach to experiences, circumstances, feelings, the past. It, becomes our personality or temperament. It becomes the reasons why we do things and why we don't do things. So literally, I mean, even just discovering what those stories are, what those beliefs are, this whole process here is like, bringing you to this point of clarity and understanding. You're also learning a lot through this whole process. There's this compass at his heart. So again, it's like, following your own true north, even, again, discovering what that is. What are you building? What do you, what is your heart invested in? Can you commit to it? Right? Like, and that may look different for you than for other people. This orb of light is sitting at their crown chakra now, and that has to do with, higher consciousness. He's holding the sword of truth here. There's this contract in his hand. It feels like very faded type of thing. Like, again, right, you are exactly where you are meant to be in your life. And what is being shown to you here is like all of these different aspects that are going to help you reach this goal to get on the other side of the process. Beautiful. This is beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.